It was winter day on the island of Sodor. Large a fog rolled from the sea, and within minutes it hit the hills and filled. The express routine was taken to Victorstown area. The engine could barely see a thing to their tracks. At Knapford Harbour, Murdoch was ordered to take the slow goods train to Brendom Docks. Without coupling up, Murdoch could hear something through the mist, the whistling and some wailing. He listened closely towards the fog and think of it what it could be. "Hello? Is someone there?" he called, but there was no answer. Murdoch was confused. Just then, Boco arrived with 3 flatbeds taken to the smelter's yard. "Boco," he called, "do you recognize that whistle?" he asked. Boco listened in the distance and realized what Murdoch was talking about. Oh my goodness," he said. "The whistle sounds like the express tank engine," he gasped. What's an express tank engine?" he called out. Boco thinks what Murdoch was asking. Boco then shared his story to him. "Well, Murdoch, long time ago, the tank engine was instructed for slow goods and lots of single coaches. And as for me, Theodore, and also with the others. A few hours later, the Foggy controller take 2 engines to take the express train to the fog. Without a word, packed down the coaches and set off to the mist. At Croven's Gate, the express was supposed to be here on time, but there was no engine coming. By all of a sudden, the telephone rang from Croven's Gate signal box, saying the express train was running late, but the expresser said 1 engine had gone missing, but not until Box Hill had put on his brakes and came to a halt. Then the guards checked out to see what's the problem. Box Hill's driver said that the tank engine had disappeared around the tracks. From crossing the bridge, they said one moment the train was rolling along smoothly. Then through the bridge, Boxer realized the tank engine had gone through the area. By 2 hours later, I came to return the express back to the station. While do so, the workmen searched for the engine to be found, and I felt awful for the engine is a goner. But the signalman said that night an engine was puffing through the mist. The engine was gone, but when the engine whistled for help to be found through the mist. Murdoch was surprised, listening Boco's story was on too real. And without a word, Murdoch was coupling up to the train and set off to the fog. The fog seemed thicker than ever. Murdoch was on the main line. He could barely see towards his track and had his lamp on. Murdoch could make his way at the building. As he continued on, he spotted 2 platforms and 2 name boards saying Elsbridge. As he closely to the station. "Oh, okay, it's not that far away. I can make my way to Crosby, to Ellsworth, from Brendom Docks." He began to left the station. However, he started to hear a strange sound coming through the distance, the whistling and some wailing. What on soda was that?" he huffed. Murdoch listened carefully in the mist, but he couldn't see anyone on his tracks. He was so confused. Murdoch spotted black masses into the fog. It was on his level and looked to be near the track itself. Hello? Who's there? He called. Who's out there whistling like that? But they got no answer. As he got nearer and nearer, the masses had faded away in the main line. Murdoch was very confused, but he couldn't been the tank engine or Thomas. As he continued on, they crossed through the bridge with no other engines passing him or onto his track. Murdoch saw under the bridge, he see two platforms with the word Wellsworth, and in the station, he saw many people in the platform waiting for an engine to come. Murdoch felt very proud. I did it! I can make my way to Brendom Docks. He blew his whistle to switch the point at the right track. He huffed in the fog with a proud face. Without a word, Murdoch heard that unusual whistling again. But it's not just one though. However, but the whistling and some wailing. Now Murdoch was even nervous as he looked. Suddenly, he spotted some black masses around the track. Murdoch didn't realize he was on the same track. What? Good grief! Out of my way! He yelled, but it didn't move his way. He felt to get scared, like he was going to crash into an engine in a mist. Driver, release the brakes! I think the engine doesn't know how to stop! The driver put on his brakes, and Murdoch screeched to a halt. He refused to slow down until he was positive he was safe. As he continued to break down, he opened one of his eyes and saw nothing under the line. Some of the masses have faded away again. Murdoch had finally relieved himself. Finally, there were no tank engine around. And with that, he huffed out and headed to the docks. Under the tunnel, Murdoch felt if there was no more express tank engine. As he continued on, Murdoch saw something at the platform. Seeing the guard was a whistle in his hand, and two old green cows with a board named Lower Sutherland. Murdoch felt much better now. He started to blow his whistle and hear that unusual voice. Is that you, Murdoch? He came to a halt and saw something to the fog. In the sheds, sitting alone, was Percy. He was all alone in there, waiting for a fog to be cleared. Hello, Murdoch, he called. What were you doing running around in the mist? Well, I went to the harbor to take a slow goods train, and I was on my way to the docks. And what are you doing here alone? Well, I've been lost my way home, and now I'm back here. Will you help me find my way back in the shed? Murdoch pretty sure he wanted to help his friend, but he know what to do now. Don't worry, Percy. I'll make my way to the docks, and I'll come back for you. I promise you. And with that, he huffed out to the mist. Percy watched with a nervously. Murdoch made his way to Brendom, but he had to cross the rickety old bridge. So he huffed slowly towards it, more and more. He wanted to be brave, but he wanted to go back and get Percy. In the distance, he heard the whistling and some wailing again. Oh no, it can't be. It's just a story. It's just a story. Wake up! Wake up! Murdoch shouted. He started to get nervous. He was so brave, however, he wanted to ignore it, but the story was still following him everywhere. He followed that whistle where it came from. He made his way into the docks, and then, with a smiley face, he could see Cranky running out with some other jobs. Murdoch puffed closer to him. "Cranky," he called. Cranky looked at Murdoch with worries. "Do you know that whistle?" he questioned. That Cranky started to listen to the sound where it came from. Cranky just sniffed and was ignored by that. "Murdoch, you're just plain stupid with me. It's just a boat blowing to the funnel." Murdoch gasped. It was a boat whistling inside of the funnel. "But Cranky, Boco told me about the story. It was all too real. And now you're telling me it was the ship?" Don't give me that rubbish, you. It's just a stupid boat whistling inside of that funnel. Murdoch felt very silly with all the screaming and yelling. Now he was being silly and went red with embarrassment. Just then, Murdoch noticed something. "Oh my goodness, Percy! I gotta go get Percy! Bye, Cranky!" Murdoch left his slow goods before Cranky could say anything. Murdoch raced down the rickety old bridge to find Percy. He was worried about him. If he gets lost, he'll have to find his way home. "Don't worry, Percy. Stay calm. Stay calm. Murdoch's coming for you." Through the fog, Murdoch had found him in the shed, waiting for him. "Percy, there you are! I thought you were lost." "Huh? What are you talking about, being lost into the mist?" He didn't say anything, but the story that told him was not true. There were no such thing, the express tank engine. With that, the two engines huffed out to the fog and set off home. Wheel turn by wheel turn, Murdoch and Percy puffed happily together on their way back to the shed. They could barely see a thing through their tracks ahead, which is then they heard a whistle in the distance. Murdoch and Percy slowed to a halt. They knew that whistle a lot. So the two engines followed that sound and echoed around. In the mist, Murdoch and Percy gasped. They saw a turntable in front of them, an 8 full of sheds. There were so many engines in there, but one was missing. "Oh, I did it! We're finally home, Percy!" "Hooray!" he yelled. Both engines tooted and hooted. The engines tooted back at them. Percy felt even more proud than ever. "Thank you, Murdoch, for all your help. Would you like to stay here until it was nice and sunny outside?" Percy asked. Murdoch made his decision and decided to stay here for now. "Yes, Percy, and thank you for the invite." The engines hooted and tooted for Murdoch. But there's one problem. If the tank engine could be still around, it whistled for his lost home was gone and a goner. Who knows, hoping that tank engine doesn't cause himself into trouble.